At long last, I think we're set up. So, okay. Demon's Crest. Yeah, this is kind of like a, not exactly a classic from like my early childhood, but like a sort of one that I discovered later on. Like I never played this game on the original SNES hardware. This is one that I discovered basically once I started getting into emulation and that type of stuff on the PC. In fact, this was one of the early games that I sort of first discovered via emulation when I was like getting hardcore into that and trying out all kinds of different SNES games because I didn't have a. So I don't know what the name of the emulator indicates. I don't think that this emulator has built-in achievements like the what you call it, the Retro Achievement Hunter emulators or anything like that. As far as I know, this is just like a standard, like, multi-purpose emulation thing that loads different cores to emulate different consoles. Yeah, so this game is basically, like, metal as fuck, as you can tell from the title screen here. We got, like, the flaming demon with the glowing eyes and that wicked grin there. It's just, like, aesthetically, just, like, a great-looking game. The music, I don't know, kind of, like... I don't know, I'm not crazy about the music, but the look of the game and everything is fantastic, I think. It's kind of an obscure hidden gem, Demon's Crest is. Like but it's like one of those hidden, like obscure hidden gems that basically everyone knows about these days, thanks to the internet. Because yeah, I remember when I first uncovered this game, I thought it was just like the coolest thing. It's like, because I'd never seen this game like in real life, so it's like, oh, I uncovered like this, you know, lost piece of art or something. That you know, that kind of feeling you get when you're like digging through the big treasure trove of like all the SNES games ever made in your ROM collection, and you find the one that's like really fucking awesome. And yeah, this is a game from Capcom. It's based on the yeah, weirdly enough, starring like the Red Arimer demon guy from the Ghouls and Ghosts series. Like that pain in the ass red demon that like swoops around and kicks your ass in that game. And they actually made a series of games based on this guy. This is, I think, the third one in the series after the original Gargoyle's Quest, which was on the Famicom. It might have gotten released on the Nintendo, like over in North America, but I'm not positive on that. And then Gargoyle's Quest 2 on Game Boy, which I believe did see an English release. And then now this one, Demon's Crest. There might have been like another one squeezed in there somewhere that I don't know about, but yeah. I never actually I went back and I tried the original Demon's Crest a while back, but I couldn't really get into it. It seemed like a really big step, or the original Gargoyle's Quest I tried out a long time ago, but couldn't really get into it. It seemed like a big step back from Demon's Crest, which I had already played and loved by that point. So yeah, it was kind of hard to go back. I find that with a lot of like old game series. I find it hard to go back. I actually had that problem with the original Super Mario Brothers, where it's like I played and liked like Super Mario World and Mario Brothers 3 so much, and I eventually went back and played the original Super Mario Brothers, and I just couldn't get into it for the longest time. I actually have a series on YouTube where I basically like sit down and resolve to learn how to play and enjoy and be good at the original Super Mario Brothers. Yeah, I just kept on playing that game until I was able to... Well, this game has like a really, really long and involved story at the beginning here. I'm not sure I've ever... Or I certainly very rarely sit through this. The basic idea here is that you got your... or I guess your Red Arimer demon here is named Firebrand. I don't remember at all what was going on in Celeste when we... I was like right in the middle of, the windy level, and I don't remember precisely what was going on. Yeah, we were in the middle of it. Yeah, so this guy right here, I think his name is Phalanx, basically usurped, the red demon, Firebrand, and became like the new supreme demon. And then basically the way the game's going to go is we're going to awaken like 100 years later or some shit and take back the kingdom from Phalanx by collecting the demon crests and powering up and going to kick his ass with them. And you've got a few opportunities to go and kick his ass throughout the game, and you'll get a slightly, or actually a substantially different ending depending on when you decide to go and defeat Phalanx, which is pretty cool. There's kind of like I think 3 main endings. It's like a ABC, and then basically the more stuff you collect before you go to fight him, the better an ending you get. Man, this intro, like story sequence is way longer and more involved than I actually remembered. I thought we'd be like fucking playing this game by now already. Okay, now we're back on the title screen. Oh yeah, I guess this game actually does have not a save system, but a password system. Which is a good thing, because this is the kind of game that you generally wouldn't want to try and play through all in one sitting. I am going to play through it all in one sitting right here, probably, just because I know the game reasonably well. I've played it quite a few times. I haven't played it in several years, but I've played it enough that I probably know what I'm doing. But yeah, there is a password system. I don't remember exactly how to get or use passwords in this game at all. I always just used save states going through here. But either I'd use save states to sort of save my progress, or I would just beat the game in one sitting. So yeah, we're gonna start a new game here. So yeah, I don't know what this story is then with like Firebrand, or maybe there would have been like another long-ass story sequence if we'd have let it sit on the title screen long enough. But for some reason, Firebrand is in this big-ass demon coliseum here, and has got to fight his way past this zombie dragon. I want to say this guy's name is Samulo or Somulo for some reason. Anyways, this game has like kind of weird controls that are kind of difficult to get used to. So you got this basically kind of flying ability. But the way it works is basically if you hit the jump button again when you're in the air, you start flying, only you can't change your elevation at all. You're kind of locked like at that level of height when you jump up and fly. Although you can kind of adjust your position downward by just like tapping the button again to drop and then again to start flying again. You sort of toggle back and forth between flying and not flying while you're in the air. This is actually a pathetic boss right here. You can just every time he comes down, you just interrupt him. Don't even have to let him get a shot off. And then for some reason that busts open the door of the Colosseum. Just gonna do a quick little video check here. I think that looks all right. But then I just love these like multi-stage boss fights in video games where it's like you think you got him, but then this is actually even more pathetic than the first fight though, because he can't like move his neck to shoot fireballs at you if you're up here, or even back here. So yeah, there's like no way that this guy hurts you. And I think he only takes like 2 hits to kill, 3 hits. Yeah, it really is. And if you actually look at the like the sort of the material online about this game, almost all of them use the screenshot of that big ass tutorial dragon there to sort of show off the game. In fact, I never saw a physical box of this game back in the day, but I would bet anything that if you look at the back of it, they show you that dragon in the screenshot. But yeah, right now our abilities are really basic. We got a headbutt, which they kind of showed off for us, or I don't know if it was clear, but they kind of show you how to do the headbutt there and like how you can break statues. That was the first statue that I headbutted there was actually the game doing that for me to sort of show off the way the headbutt works. Sort of an elegant kind of word-free in-game tutorial there on how to break statues apart with your head. And that was a little, spell scroll there, which we'll be able to put spells onto later on. And in fact, if we open up the inventory here, you'll see there's a lot of stuff for us to collect in this game. This is like kind of like a quasi-Metroidvania game. Like we'll be filling out all these spots with different powers and using those powers to explore and uncover different and new areas of the game. But it's not exactly a Metroidvania, mostly just down to the structure of the map and the way the levels are laid out. I love the little intro, like, music you get for the bosses, too. It's just like, oh, you know shit's about to get real. Although it's actually not. I see no, like, logical reason why we can't just walk past this guy and ignore him. There's more level over this way. We could go there if we wanted to, but no. Firebrand's gotta just prove that he's king of the demons. And, yeah, just headbutt and beat the crap out of every demon he comes across. Like, he was just, like, sitting there, like, sleeping in his little stony form, not hurting anyone. And, like, he's, like, perfectly justified to be attacking us here after we headbutted him out of his nap. It's kind of annoying the way he, like, stays up out of your reach there. So, yeah, the bosses actually have pretty substantial invincibility frames in this game. There's not really much reason to be rapid-firing them, but I like to do it anyways, just to, I don't know, I like mashing buttons. And then he goes back to sleep, but we can actually break him open this time. Imagine, like, headbutting someone so hard that their, like, whole entire torso just flies off. And then we got our second health upgrade already. I think the health maxes out at, like, 20. We'll basically be getting 2 full rows of health by the time we're done here. But yeah, the music in this game is, like, pretty much all, like, these little, like, muted, dingy little, like, mostly solo organ tracks, which I don't know, I had a hard time getting used to. I really didn't like the music at all the first few times I played this game, but it's kind of grown on me a little bit. There's actually 2 tracks in the game in particular that I actually really like. See, it got like kind of a weird, like, somber tone to it, which I think actually suits the game and, like, the world of Demon's Crest really well. Because, yeah, it seems like they're going for, like, a really, like, dark, kind of gothic feel to it, as I think I kind of noted in my description for this stream. What's even the point of that moving platform there? I can fly, dog. I can just fly over that pit. But yeah, basically, how well you take to this game and how easily you pick it up and how difficult you find it is going to be entirely down to how much difficulty you have mastering the flight controls. Because it's a bit clunkier than you might imagine. I might end up, I don't know, depending on how much I remember how to play the game properly, you might see me make it look easy. You might see me make it look, like, really hard and pathetic. But, basically, Firebrand in this game is kind of as mobile and agile as you make him. You can do cool stuff and sort of fancy evasive maneuvers with the flight, or you can just kind of, yeah, slowly bump into things and sort of kludge around all over the place. So there's this guy here who basically has all of the demon crests for some reason. It's like all of the crests are, like, hidden behind boss fights with this guy here. I don't know if he's, like, supposed to be a lieutenant of Phalanx or something, or if he's just, like, some guardian of the crests. I'm sure this game has a very deep plot. If you get into, like, I'm sure there's, like, a lore wiki that you could check out if you wanted. There probably isn't. But yeah, mostly what it is to me is just, like, a really cool kind of pseudo-Metroidvania from back in the SNES days that I never actually played in the SNES days. I guess I would have been in about high school when I went through kind of my SNES emulation phase, and I like, just went through and played a ton of SNES games. Because I wasn't super familiar with the SNES library back in the day. I owned a SNES, but that was like towards the end of the system's life cycle. Because I had a Genesis for the years before that. I got a SNES in like 1996, I think, and then a PlayStation a year later. So I only really played like SNES games on the SNES regularly for about a year or two. Okay, so now we got our first demon crest, and whoa, I just is that even noticeable? Should I even bother fixing that? Yeah, we'll do that. Accidentally kicked the cord on my front light there. So yeah, the whole one of the gimmicks with this game, one of the main things that we'll be filling out our little Metroidvania inventory with, will be these demon crests, which basically give you new transformations with basically entirely new abilities. It really does feel like you're playing like an entirely new character when you make these transformations. So yeah, we've got a neat little world map here as well. Where, yeah, you can just kind of fly around in Mode 7 mode, you swoop down, and if you happen to swoop onto a area that you can go into, then yeah, you'll enter the level. You see we've got like kind of some like shops and mini-game huts littered throughout here as well. Like if we go to this guy, yeah, we can actually get a spell for that scroll that we got there. I almost never use like spells and items in this game. You really should. This game is not really that easy, especially when you're first learning it, but I'm just kind of stubborn in that way. Get a handy little description of each spell as you buy it too. Whoops, I actually didn't want that. I wanted to cancel out and see the others, but fuck it, we'll see what hold does. So yeah, Shock is kind of the good one. It's kind of a big screen-clearing bomb. I actually don't even know what most of the spells do in this game, because like I said, I basically never use them. The potions that you can put into your vials, though, in fact... Or actually, I think if you pause on the world map, yeah, you actually get a map of the world. So those big numbers there are the different levels you can get, that you can go to. We actually just came out of level 1 there. You know what, I think... Yeah, right here. Oh, this is the expert level of the skull headbutting minigame, isn't it? Level 3. Is that the expert level? Because basically there's a bunch of these headbutting minigames here throughout the map. And it's if there's one thing in this game that's actually like the hardest possible thing to get the hang of, it's actually like getting the timing right of your headbutt in the air. Because there's like a big wind-up on the animation, and he continues to sort of drop down while he's in the air. So it's like really tough to actually hit these all of these skulls. It's actually maybe like the hardest thing to do in the entire game. And there's multiple levels of this skull headbutting minigame too. And there's basically no reason to do any of them other than the last one. Because, yeah, the last level of skull headbutting gets you a health upgrade, which is kind of what we're going for here. Basically, we'll just come back here periodically and try to... The thing is, yeah, it really matters how quickly you can get these skulls, too, because the faster you get them, the faster new ones spawn. Fuck! And I know the highest level is, like, really, really hard, too. Like, you basically have to be constantly headbutting skulls. Like, basically, like, the first two... Basically, you can miss, like, maybe 3 times. Okay, if you get lucky and you get a bunch on the floor, you can maybe make up some lost time. Is that it? The thing is, you get money out of them sometimes, so it's like we can keep on doing it, actually. We'll just keep doing this till we run out of... This is kind of a bad introduction to the game, but I know we have to do this sooner or later, and this is as good a time as any to practice. Although, like I said, it really is kind of the worst time to actually try this out, since this is, like, right near the beginning, and I'm kind of trying to show off how cool this game is. This is kind of the least cool part of the entire game. Well, this is a pretty good run so far. Okay, if we get really lucky, yeah, just get a bunch of those skulls on the ground there. Fuck. The ones up high are actually pretty easy, too. He says after, like, missing... Okay, that was a good run until we fucked it up. Oh, hey, we got it! Nice! Now we found out that this isn't even the one that we wanted. Oh, hey! Yeah, this is the one. Okay. And yeah, there's other levels of the minigame that are just easier, where you don't have to clear as many skulls to get the reward, but your reward for those ones is just money, so there's not really any reason to do them. But yeah, as far as the main levels, you got the Demon Town right here, which is kind of the next intended level in the path. Although you do have, like, kind of your, like, free reign over the levels, basically. Like, you can do them in any order you want. It's just, it's kind of better if you do them in the suggested order. Oh yeah, this guy tells you what the talismans that you collect do, which is actually handy because there's no other way to find out what the different talismans are for after you collect them. Oh yeah, we also got this guy here. But yeah, this is the kind of world that we're in, where it's like we're not really exactly a good guy either. Like this guy Phalanx sounds like kind of a jackass. Only he actually sounds like less of a jackass than Firebrand here. It's like, sure, Phalanx kind of brought order and, like, you know, from what I understand, kind of order, like an oppressive regime or whatever. But he brought order to the demon world, at least, whereas it sounds like Firebrand just wanted to fucking burn the whole thing down. I think that's just another spell shop. We already have all of our scrolls filled up anyways. You can actually just, like, sit around and farm money here if you want, which is actually kind of really helpful if you're having difficulty with the later bosses, which indeed there's a good chance you will your first time through the game. And actually there's another shop over here that's actually not really, like, super secret or anything. It just sells regular items, but yeah, for some reason you have to have a special crest to get in there. So to actually show off the transformations now. So yeah, this is the Earth Gargoyle. He's got instead of the headbutt, he's got this dash ability that lets him sort of bust apart pots and statues and stuff. Also gives you a bit of like sort of like a Mega Man dash, like Mega Man X dash jump, kind of, which is pretty neat. But the big obvious downside of this guy is that he has no wings. He cannot fly. And the other big downside is that his breath attack doesn't actually reach very far. He's got kind of a limited range with it, and it doesn't shoot, like, all the way forward. It just goes along the ground. He's got an aerial one that shoots forward, but it's got limited range, and it's not very strong. And actually, if you go talk to this guy, he'll sort of describe each of the different demons' powers to you. Like, yeah, he says you can break a fountain into pieces, and sure enough, we can do that for some health pickups, if we want them. But yeah, and the gargoyle power is kind of what you want for this first area. And yeah, we can bash these torches here. Yeah, actually, I think we'd rather have fire now that I think of it. Yeah, earth isn't even a... So your different breath attacks from your different gargoyles have sort of different elemental properties too. Like certain enemies will be weak to certain breath attacks that you get from the different gargoyles. Or you know what? He can hang from the walls. I just completely forgot to show that off. But yeah, you can indeed hang from the walls. I just, yeah, totally forgot that was a thing you could do. There's often not much reason to do it in the game, actually, except for certain later bosses. And yeah, the hidden passageway down here is pretty obvious. So just to clarify, he can hang from walls, but those blocks there that were blocking off that shop at the top of town can't be grabbed from. So you can grab onto normal walls, but not destructible blocks. Which is why that particular shop wasn't accessible. Oh, this is kind of annoying. I think there's a health upgrade in that pot, but we can't actually get it yet. So actually, even more than like a Metroidvania type structure, I'd almost say this is actually more of like a Mega Man X style of sort of structure of the game. Where it's like you've got a level select, and you've got a bunch of hidden things in each of the levels. Or yeah, we can't even damage this guy with fire breath. But yeah, you got a level select and a bunch of levels to choose from, and then you got sort of different hidden things in each level that you can only get with, yeah, certain power-ups. So it's got a little bit of a Mega Man X factor to it, and indeed, this is a Capcom game, so that kind of makes sense. I actually wonder if there's much crossover between the Mega Man X team and this game. Maybe I have to scan the credits after we're done this playthrough. And yeah, sure enough, we need the... So, yeah, a lot of people are... One of the big complaints people have about this game is the lack of any sort of, like, weapon or transformation quick change. Which I guess I can kind of see. It is a little bit cumbersome to have to go into the menu every time to make your transformation. Personally, I prefer doing things in menus anyways, just because I don't like fumbling around with like the L and R buttons when I'm actually like in the game and fighting enemies. It's just when I try to get fancy with like the weapon quick changes in Mega Man games, that's when I tend to make mistakes and just like fumble through. Whereas in this one, or rather, if you're using the menu, then it like basically it takes more like time, more real time, but less like in-game real time. Like, it takes time on your clock for a speedrun to go into the menu, but no time, like, in-game, in combat. It's basically instantaneous as far as the enemies we're fighting are concerned. Oh yeah, there's a gimmick here where, yeah, the ghosts here will go around and swallow up the candles that you light. And then if they take away all the candles, then the area becomes dark, and then the bats attack you. Yep, and, yeah, bats are no good, because they do this. So they get 2 hits on you. But if you can keep the area lit up, then the bats will stay sleeping. I think there's actually a breath attack from one of the later gargoyles you can get that'll actually kill the... Yeah, one of your later transformations can actually kill the ghosts here. So this is a bad amount of health to be on for the boss that's coming up. There's a door around here somewhere. I'm just gonna see if I can find it. There we go. Oh yeah, there's no, or you know what, I think we get a full health refill anyways at the start of this fight. Oh yeah, and as far as, yeah, Nosferatu, I have played a little bit of it. Ah! Actually, not a big deal, though. You get, unlimited lives in this game. And pretty liberal checkpoints, so it's not... If anything, that was just like a free health refill that we took right there. For style points, it would have been nice to get through this game without any deaths, but yeah. The big problem I was actually having here was fucking, yeah, slowdown. Which is, yeah, probably my biggest problem with the game is, yeah, the occasional slowdown that occurs. Anyways, and as far as Nosferatu, I think that's an apt description of that game. Yeah, kind of like a horror Prince of Persia. I think I played it for like maybe an hour or so before I decided I had enough of it. So this boss here is actually weak to the Earth Gargoyle's breath. And if you can actually like hit these eyeballs with it, it's actually, yeah, really powerful. Thing is because it's like a ground attack and the eyeballs are all floaty, it's not actually that helpful. But yeah, if you do manage to get the ground breath on them, because yeah, your aerial breath attack is kind of weakened, so it takes 3 hits to kill them with that, which I think is what the regular fireball does anyways. Yeah, 3 hits anyways with the regular fireball, so there's not really any benefit to using the ground gargoyle unless you can get him with this attack. The second form, on the other hand, has a lot more health. So yeah, it is kind of worth your while to go for the extra damage from the, yeah, Earth Gargoyle. You can actually... This guy's actually so weak to the Earth Breath that, yeah, you can pretty much just... As long as you're high on health, you can just tank the hits and just, like, man-fight him. Just, like, stand up and spam your breath at him. And then, sure enough, true Mega Man fashion, we get a new weapon from that boss fight there. Hell, we get a Buster, even. We get the Buster. We're, like, for real Mega Man now. So we get the Buster that lets us break through blocks. And hilariously, there's like a bunch of power-ups in that cave we just went through that are hidden behind breakable blocks. So it's, yeah, kind of that annoying thing that happens in Mega Man X games sometimes. Where it's like you have to play through a level twice because you need the Robot Master's weapon to get items that are in his stage. Most Mega Man games are actually pretty good about not doing that. But some are worse than others. I'd say this game is ranked somewhat better than the average Mega Man X game, actually, as far as forcing replays of stages to get 100%. Oh man, I wanted to like tackle that thing into the water there just to show it off, but... So yeah, we are actually just going right back into the caves here. Just to get all that stuff with the new... In fact, let's show off the new Buster, because it's actually... apart from breaking apart blocks, it's kind of a slight improvement over your regular fire as well. First of all, it's not actually considered, like, fire elemental, which is good for certain enemies that are resistant to fire. I think it might... Oh, and also it lets you have, yeah, 2 shots on screen at the same time. So yeah, this is one of those games where you're like Mega Man, where your shot speed is limited not by a particular rate of fire, but by how many shots you can have on screen at the same time. Also, the hitbox of these Buster shots is actually a little bit larger than your standard fire, which is actually really helpful for hitting certain enemies on the ground that can't be hit with regular fire. Man, I really hate that I took that stupid death there, too. It was all, like, Slowdown's fault, too. I could have totally nailed that if I'd have just... Because there was a health pot in that vase right where... before I died. Well, easy come, easy go there. Although not having the elemental properties, you can't actually use the Buster shot to light torches. So we're going back to good old fire right here. Or that's the wrong one. Really like the sound effects in this game, too. Oh yeah, and sure enough, yeah, the Buster can actually take out the ghosts. Okay, I'm pretty sure there's a power-up of some kind hidden behind this wall here. Yep, there we go. That's pretty much all we came for. Can we exit out? I mean, I guess we can always exit out if we die, because you always have that option during the death screen to exit to the map. Actually, I wonder if I can actually kill the ghost. Yeah, the fire doesn't even damage the ghost. Damn you. Yeah, so now you can actually see the door that I entered earlier on. And then, yeah, he'll just automatically exit out when you get to the boss. Okay, so that's level 2. There's actually another branch to that level where if you don't go in the door that was blocked by the torch that we bumped aside, you go to a different part of the level. That's actually a really tricky part of the level, actually. You can take a lot of deaths there if you're new to the game and not really sure how it controls. There's a tough boss. It's like, basically, if you don't go into that cave there, you fork off into the graveyard instead, and at the end of the graveyard is a really difficult boss that a lot of new players will get stuck on. I think you need the air gargoyle power to bust through those kind of vine walls. Actually, one of the biggest benefits of the Buster, actually, weirdly enough, is the ability to break pots on the ground. Hey there, Maze Whale. Good to see ya. Yeah, I decided to mix things up with some Demon's Crest today. Go with one of the classics. We used to be like 50% new, 50% classics, but now we're like 0% classics. I decided to rectify that just a little bit. I don't know if this game is exactly a classic. I think it's a classic. I think this is like one of the best like 2D platformers on the SNES. This is one of my favorite SNES games. I maybe like it like about as much as Mega Man X. I did say no retro streams for a bit, and that was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. I decided it was time. We got through our block of like 20 games on the Steam backlog that we were going to get through. I've lined up 20 more for the next couple months, and yeah, we're just chilling out with yeah, a little retro classic here. I don't expect this will be like a big, long... Oh yeah, so yeah, Firebrand actually takes damage in the water here, but it's kind of weird. Like if you, like basically you can kind of swim, actually. Like yeah, you can take a little bit of a dunk in the water, but if you stay in for too long, you'll take damage. But since you can swim, you can just hop out of the water, and it's like nothing. But what's tricky is if you get stuck in like deep water, like say if the water rises up on you very quickly, like it can here, then you end up stuck at the bottom, and you just keep taking chain hits, and you can't climb out because you're continuously taking hits, and it really sucks. And then obviously, yeah, there's a transformation that you'll get later on that'll let you swim freely. Man, we're getting a lot of this spell paper. Getting like all the spell paper and none of the other upgrades. And I never even use spells in these games. Oh yeah, we don't even have a spell or a potion equipped here. Oh, are you kidding me? Your CPU... Really? Your CPU is too trash even for SNES games? Because SNES... I don't think SNES games are that demanding these days. Like, I was able to emulate SNES games back in, like, fucking 1990... like, 1998. Are you running on, like, a Pentium 2 or something? I think I might actually have, like, my old Pentium 3 kicking around here somewhere in the house. I say my old Pentium 2, it was really my parents'. Oh yeah, you can always go with Z-SNES, though. I used Z-SNES back in the day. Or have the requirements for that gone up in the newer versions, too? Because yeah, I totally remember running, like, yeah, Z-SNES in, like, Windows 95 back in the day. Well, that's the price you pay for having standards, I guess, is you just don't get to play some video games. I don't know why I decided to go for this one. I don't think there's actually any, like, useful special ability you can get in this level. Oh, this guy's kind of tricky. So you got 2 targets here. And naturally, the one that you don't kill will go apeshit once you kill his buddy. I think the top one, like the little scarab there, has like way less health than the other guy. Okay, you gotta... Sometimes... Okay, those high jumps are what you want. This guy can corner you, and it's like really unfair sometimes when he does. You can kind of keep track of how much health the bosses have left, though. Just by the shade that they turn. What is this shit? Oh god. Okay, so it looks like you gotta let this guy spin. Okay. Wow, that was really close. And all you get out of that is a little health pickup. Now that I think of it, if I would have gone the other path, you do get a new breath attack that is not very useful. So, in fact, it's pretty much worthless. I don't think you need it at all to... Yeah, the power-up you get from the other branch on that level is completely useless. You don't need it at all to get through the game. Basically each level has sort of 2 branching paths that you can go through. Basically, usually one with a health pickup at the end of the boss, and one with a new ability or crest. So the plan, again, just to reiterate, probably should have not even bothered like saying what the plan was for the day until everyone was here. Is it's going to be just Demon's Crest. We're just going to do a quick Demon's Crest run. I think this game takes like about a couple hours to do a 100% run, maybe 3 hours if I like completely get lost and forget how to play or get stuck on the final boss or something, which is really challenging. But yeah, basically 2 to 3 hours to play through Demon's Crest, and then we're just going right back into Celeste. And then, depending on how long Celeste takes, we may or may not do some Space Chem if we have time. I'm expecting we'll probably finish Celeste today. I don't think it's like a super long game or anything, from what I understand. Like, if we go like 3 or 4 more hours on Celeste, I think that'll be enough to beat it. Then yeah, if we have time after that, we'll do some Space Chem. And then once we get, like, basically after supper into the evening, we will be doing some Acceleration of Suguri and get some online matches of that going. Because I feel bad that I got like all those people following me last time we did the Acceleration of Suguri stream, and then I like never streamed it again after that. Or I guess it was only like a week ago. Maybe 2 weeks? I don't know. I have a hard time keeping track of time. But yeah, this is basically just like a couple hour interlude right here. We're back to regular programming right after I finish Demon's Crest. Yeah, so this bit right here is where, yeah, kind of your flying skills kind of get put to the test. You can do kind of evasive maneuvers. And you know what, I think there's... So this is where the branch occurs for this stage. You can either go down into the whirlwind, or you can go over to the right and fight the regular boss. It's actually, yeah, just a regular boss over here, and then like the whole second half of the level if you drop down the whirlwind there. So you actually, this branch of the level is actually way, way shorter than the other. This boss right here is actually one of the trickier bosses in the game, I think. Mainly because of, yeah, that right here. He does this thing where he circles around a few times. You've got to kind of count how many times he's looping around there, because after, I think 3 or... no, I think it's like 4 spins, he'll come at you, and you need to be ready for that. Though, if he does this, you're actually lucky, because this is kind of the easy thing that he does. The hard thing that he does is, yeah, kind of hovers up and down and throws his claws like that. Yeah. So this can be a bit of a tough boss if you get... unlucky patterns with the claws there. I think you can actually stand on his back, similar to the like Sea Dragon in Mega Man X. But like he kind of bucks you quite a bit, so you're very likely to take a hit. I am getting like the worst luck right here. It's not even turning red too. This guy has a lot of health. The way he's like hovering around the bottom too, like if you get lucky, he'll go up where he won't even like touch you. Okay, this is the good shit. This is what we want to see. There we go. And I think all we get for this is a health pickup. And again, the lovely little slowdown while we... oh no, we get the claw right here. That's right. This is another pretty... So with this, you can climb up walls. That sounds stupid since we can already climb up walls, but what they mean there is it's basically creates kind of a sticky shot, and you can stick it onto walls that are otherwise not climbable. Like you can stick it onto spike walls and climb up them with that thing. So now that we've beaten one branch of each of the levels, that actually unlocks the final level here. So if I go do the final level, then that's going to end the game, and then I'll have to restart from the beginning if I want to get a different ending. So what we're actually going to do is... whoops. I think the emulator is about to crash. I should not have done that. Okay, how does this work here? Okay, so yeah, we go to Demon's Crest, and then we save a state. There we go. And now we're going to go do the final boss. Because all you need to do to get to the final boss, apparently, is just beat one branch of each of the first 4 levels. This guy is probably gonna beat the shit out of us. Although, I don't know. We'll see if I can remember how to do this fight. And actually, this is a good way to show off the claw that we just got. So you see we got the spiked walls here. So there's no taking advantage of our wall climbing ability. Except with the claw, there totally is. So yeah, we stick it on there. And now we can actually get shots on him. Fuck. Now we can actually get shots on him when he's kind of up there, out of our reach. Although, okay, one property of your breath attacks in this game, though, is you can never hit anything, like, regardless of the range of your breath. It basically has infinite range, but you can never hit anything that's off-screen from you. But yeah, weirdly enough, the claw is actually really helpful for beating this last boss here. I don't think he goes into his second phase if you fight him this early in the game. Whoa. I mean, he kind of has a second phase. Like, right now he's doing, like, kind of his phase 1 attacks, then he moves into his phase 2 attacks. And then he has, like, an actual phase 2 where, like, the music changes and he, like, floods the chamber with water. Forces you into your, water gargoyle form. God, that one's super fast. Okay, yeah, I kind of anticipate it. Okay, you can't double shoot that. Whoa! I am shocked that I didn't take damage there. Yeah, you can actually kind of hang inside of his legs there. It's actually kind of the easy way to do this fight. Is to just kind of, yeah, hang behind him, wait for him to drop down in front of you, and then shoot him. Oh, this is going to be close. Okay, that got him. And yeah, sure enough, he doesn't move into his sort of proper, like, real final boss form. Oh, maybe he does. Transformation time! Nope. Or maybe, but nope. And yeah, the Crest just teleports away for some reason instead of letting him activate it. I don't know what it is about like having more items that makes him able to use the Heaven Crest, but I don't know. Apparently, yeah, since he got like totally chumped by this like crappy little level 1 gargoyle here with basically no upgrades. I mean, you can see the tower is like all built up now too, like the way it does, the way it looks at the end of a full playthrough. But yeah, this is kind of the boring, shitty. I don't even know why they put this in here. Like, why would you want to? I guess this is maybe the equivalent of practice mode, sort of. Because like the sort of easy mode endings were a thing back in the day. I went on like a bit of a Twitter thing a while back about like easy mode endings in games back in the day. And I guess that's kind of what this was. This is like kind of the game's equivalent of practice mode, where you can just, if you want to, you can play the first 4 levels, and then take the final boss, and then, yeah, taken by surprise, we've got Phalanx. I played the original Thief, and I played Thief Deadly Shadows, I think it was called. I didn't play very much of either of them, though. I played maybe the first 3 or 4 hours of the original Thief before getting sidetracked, and then I played, I think, the first like 2 hours of Deadly Shadows. And it's not like this is like the bad, like, you know, try being a hero, chump, like, you know, practice mode ending or anything where the game just like taunts you for being like a shit who plays on easy mode. Like, this is a proper ending right here. It's like, hey, you beat Phalanx. Caught him by surprise. Good job. You deserve a rest. But it's not like the full good ending or anything, and you get kind of the sense that there's more to be discovered that you missed out on in the game. Actually, I think this is your message right here, that you're supposed to go back and do other things to get the full ending. Or I think this is that guy who has all the crests, that Aram or whatever. I mean, it's if that's the prophecy, then that's probably not good, because they said that Firebrand was going to go rest his wings, so it sounds like he's not going to be doing any kinging anytime soon. Defeat a phalanx. Yeah, I think it's the ending here is like, oh, how about like the demon? Yeah, the demon realm fell into anarchy, so this is your ending for whatever. We got our vengeance. We can rest our wings. Who cares about the demon realm? Jesus. This is actually a lot more morbid than I remembered. Maybe this is like a truly bad ending after all. I think, what does the Demon Realm really consist of anyways in this game? It's like a half-dozen shopkeepers, that jackass with the skull-breaking minigame, and then a bunch of like jackass like ghosts and eyeball bats that are all trying to kill me. Like, to hell with them, literally. Whatever. That's the ending we get. Yeah, and then I think, yeah, the thing... This is one of those games, like, back in the day where it's like the... Oh, never mind. I thought that you had to reset the console to, Oh, and hey, we actually do get a full credit roll, too. I thought that was actually going to end there. Epic music, too. Sort of a reprise of the first stage theme. Hey, and for some reason I remembered that guy's name. Yeah, for some reason he just has a very memorable name. Somulo. Like this guy's name. I think this is a hippogriff, even though it doesn't actually look like a hippogriff. This is actually like a really cool little arrangement of the opening stage theme. I think I actually like this credits music better than like the credits music from the actual good ending. Oh, we're probably going to see some bosses here that I didn't actually fight yet. Or maybe we won't. Or we're certainly seeing some transformations that we haven't seen yet. Like, yeah, I never got the water gargoyle. Never got the air gargoyle. I believe it's kind of showing you the weaknesses of each boss, too, because I'm pretty sure that this winged dragonfly thing is weak to wind. Flyer. They all have names like, yeah, Somulo, Hippogriff, oh, whatever, and then Flyer. Okay, so yeah, it does only show you the bosses that you actually beat. And we get a picture of the Fire Crest, which is kind of like the one crest that you start with in the game. And then I think it locks on here until you reset the console. So, yeah, and then we reset the console, and then we're, like, stuck at the beginning of the game. So you basically actually have to do, if you're playing through, like, legitimately, you kind of have to do, like, multiple full playthroughs of the game to get all the endings. But, like I said, we're not going to be doing that. So, yeah, let's pretend that we didn't go through for the early fight against Phalanx there. And what else is there to do here? Well, like I said, we can actually go back to the graveyard and fight the. I think the Gravedigger is the name of that boss. The boss we're about to fight here, if I remember it right. Oh, also, I think we get. Yeah, now that we've got the break, I think we can get into this kind of hidden shop now too. Yeah, that's basically what you need to get in here is just the break, which is like the first thing you get after. Clearing the tutorial level. This is your potion shop. I require only your strongest potions. I think most of these are just basically health potions. Oh, I think what they mean by that is that you can teleport back to the world map using this. Maybe? I don't know. We'll try it. Let's actually try out all the potions, because I don't actually know what most of them do. So we got one that lets you flee from any enemy, but we got another one that lets us flee from battle. I am dying to know what the actual difference is between those two. Oh yeah, you can see we have 3 kind of equipment slots up there. So one for our currently equipped, either our Crest or breath attack. Then we got another one for consumables, which is either your spell or your potion. I think it's, I'm trying to think, I guess it would be X on the SNES controller. Then we got a third slot there for talismans, which are, for the most part, actually quite well hidden in this game. And it's not immediately obvious what they do. There was that townsperson we spoke to earlier who basically tells you what each talisman does. It's generally just passive bonuses, like there's one that doubles your attack power, one that doubles your defense, one that doubles your gold find. So yeah, so if we don't go into the cavern there, then we go to the graveyard. I think I actually want the Earth Demon here. Just for, oh yeah, these freaking grabbing hands. Or I think there's actually a, yeah, so these guys are kind of funny. They drop skulls down at you from their big skull pile there. But if you break apart their skull pile, they don't have any skulls anymore, so then they get pissed off and lunge at you. I don't know, I find it charming. I think there's a hidden item, like way up in the corner here, but you need the flying gargoyle to get it. Oh, completely forgot that was a thing, though. We're going to want a lot of health for this next boss fight, too. Yeah, some of these hands are actually, actually dangerous. They aren't just a nuisance. Basically, once they grab you, yeah, that head will come up out of the ground, and it'll slowly come towards you, so you need to break out before it gets you. Although you just take, like, 1 damage if it does get you, so it's not, like, super deadly or anything, and the hands are really, really easy to break out of. This is like an enemy, like, kind of from Ghouls and Ghosts that I remember. There's an enemy very similar to that has the same kind of armor that you can only hit from behind. So this guy's a weirdo. And that, if I remember correctly, he's weak to Earth, but you absolutely need to fly to avoid this guy's hits. And actually, yeah, the annoying thing, too, is that this guy can corner you just like that, so you absolutely need to fly over him sometimes. The optimal way, probably, to beat him would be to switch to Earth Gargoyle. And just then switch back and forth between Earth Gargoyle. Like Earth Gargoyle when you want to attack him, and then go Fire Gargoyle when you want to fly over him. And sometimes annoying shit like this happens when you're trying to get some distance on him and he just follows you. But yeah, unless you got like a good sort of knowledge of his patterns here, this boss is kind of a sticking point for a lot of people. Also this attack right here. I just love that little like gesture animation there. Also keep in mind that a lot of people like would have come to this fight, like their very first thing they do after beating the tutorial stage, when they have like only like 4 or 5 health pips to start with. Oh wow, we've actually got like more than half the health already. So I think we basically cleaned out that level for the time being. There's some more goodies we can go back for later on, once we get some more transformations, but for now... yeah, let's check this out. So we did the underwater cavern already. Let's go do the rest of the forest now. Also, we're going to have just tons of money by the end of the game. Money is just really not good for much, I gotta say. Like, we got all of these potions and spells, but as far as I can tell, most of them are not terribly useful. Or, you know, we can technically get that without taking damage now, thanks to the claw here. Yeah, splatter it, and that lets us climb on the spikes. Although you can still get that very, very easily just by tanking the hit from the spikes and jumping up there. So it's not really required to have any sort of specific item to grab that. And then what was that? Yeah, just another potion anyways. So yeah, there's like a whole water section down below as well. Yeah, it's like we got like these platforming bits that you can just completely ignore because you can fly. I really love the flight controls in this game, actually. That's one of the reasons I like the game so much. Oh, this level right here is kind of interesting. Or this section. So it's, yeah, basically... Yeah, fire guy jumps forward, scatters a bunch of firebirds, and now the forest is on fire. And you have, like, the burning shit up above to contend with that occasionally drops fire on you, which is really annoying. So that's actually going to be gone the next time we come through here. Yeah, this is, like, kind of a one-time thing. So the next time you visit this level, that sort of burning canopy up above there will be gone and all burned away. You can actually kind of accelerate that if you want by just dying. If you die and retry the stage... Actually, you know what? I think you can break this guy's armor. Yeah, break it with the Buster shot here. But yeah, if you die and retry the stage, that counts as revisiting it, and so you can actually clear away the fire up top there just by dying, which we very well might just do on our own anyways. And there's our first talisman, the Talisman of the Skull. I believe that's just like double gold pickups or something like that. It's really not useful. The good talismans, I think, are the hand, the armor, and the fang. So actually, I think if you're like speedrunning for 100% at this game, it's actually faster to die here. Because rather than like going back to the level select and coming back here and replaying the whole level, you can just... in fact, I think we'll maybe do that. Like, we'll show off the boss fight, because the boss fight plays a little bit differently based on whether the canopy up above is set ablaze. Also, good luck if this is, like, the first boss you come to after, or I guess you'll always have the ground gargoyle transformation, technically, after doing the first set of levels, but yeah, you cannot damage this guy with your regular fire breath. I think you actually do extra damage with the ground gargoyle's shot here, although once he takes to the skies here, it's a little bit trickier. So yeah, the tricky thing with this guy is his swooping attacks, which can come at sort of different weird angles that are a bit tough to predict. Oh, and sometimes he does that too, which is hard to distinguish from the slow swooping attack. In fact, we kind of wanted to die here anyways. Yeah, so now when we replay the previous section... yeah, you can see the top, or you'll be able to see in a second that the top of the forest is all burned away. And what's cool about that... Or unless it's way up higher and we actually need the air gargoyle to get it. Oh, nope, there it is. So yeah, there's a health pickup behind the burning trees. And so with that, yeah, we basically have everything we need out of this area now. So yeah, we actually saved ourselves some time by taking that death. No need to revisit this whole area now. And also, now that those birds won't stick on the trees up top, then they won't drop the fireballs down on you. Although now he does this attack a little bit more as well, which is kind of annoying. I think he could have done it the first time around, we just didn't get to see it. Oh, this is actually going worse than the first time. Okay, let's try and get past this first form here. Yeah, like stuff like that can be really tricky to dodge. We might actually just like die naturally fighting this guy without even Ooh, yeah, like what was the solution there? Was I supposed to jump that? Like what do you do? There we go. Although we kind of have tons of health by now, so you can see how that would be like a really, really difficult fight if you're coming in here like right after the first stage with only your like 5 or 6 health. And now we've got Tornado Breath. Yeah, this is the most worthless item in the game. Also, with... Oh, no, we can still go fight Phalanx if we want to. But we don't. So we got one last kind of major branch to clear off in these levels, which is jumping into the tornado. Oh, and I forgot to mention it the first time through, but the background music for this level right here is one of the bits of music in this game that I actually really like. Oh man, just trying to grab onto the bottom there. It's mainly the intro. I just love that intro with that little do-do-do-do-do-do. I don't know. I think the music in this game is maybe kind of an acquired taste. Like, I know I really disliked it my first time playing, but, and I don't even really like it now, but... I know some people really hate it, some people really like it. Like, I know some people list, like, yeah, Demon's Crest as, like, one of their favorite SNES soundtracks, which seems weird to me with all the good music that's on the SNES. Yeah, this bit right here takes a bit of skill to get through unscathed. Okay, we'll take the health there, and then you drop down the tornado to get to the actual second half of the level. And look at that, they're already reusing bosses here. This is not like the proper boss of the level, though. This is just a mid-boss. I think you'll end up fighting this guy again by the end of the game, too, so I think he appears like 3 or 4 times. Get down here, you bitch. There we go. There we go. Yeah, he's not actually any tougher than the first time you fought him either. He has a bit more health, but all of the same moves. I don't think you even get a health upgrade from this. We'll see. Yep, that's just a full health pickup. Not even worth an upgrade. He's just like a regular enemy practically by now. So I guess this is like maybe where they expect you to use the tornado. So here's the tornado. So yeah, you can kind of climb up here. So it's like almost like being able to fly. The thing is, and this seems like really useful, it's like, hey, I can go anywhere I want to now. But like right away here, we're gonna get a power-up that makes that absolutely obsolete. And also the game is designed so that you basically never ever need to use this. Like you can get everywhere you need to in this game just with your jumping and your regular gargoyle flying ability. So there's no reason, and not even any real benefit to using the tornado power. And also the tornado breath can't actually damage enemies. So sure, you can like get anywhere you want to, but if an enemy gets in your way, you can't actually kill them. Because almost nothing in this game... There are a few enemies that can actually be damaged by tornado breath. Or you know what, I think the skull... Yeah, the skull was double health drops from enemies, and the crown was double gold drops, I think. We can actually go back to town and check out what all of those do. Also, we got a bit of an upward draft here, so you can kind of... basically kind of fly through this area, which is pretty neat.
Faster, just climb up the side wall, though. You can actually kind of take this level either way. You can do the easy way, which is what we're doing here, where you just fly up high, or you can actually ascend through the center tower, through those kind of spinning platforms. Well, I'll kind of show off both, although there's not really any reason to go through on the inside, since there's no pickups or power-ups or anything in here. All the goodies are on the outside. Yeah, sure enough, you can get through this and more easily. Like, you can tornado your way up there, actually. I think most guys are weak to tornado. Let's just double that. Yeah, so, yeah, basically, like, ghosty, windy enemies are weak to tornado. Basically, the tornado pickup is, like, useful in this column right here. Vertical shaft. Except you don't ever want to go through that vertical shaft phase, because all the pickups are on the right-hand side, outside of it. Now we fight this guy again. This is another ring boss throughout the game. see different palette swaps as we go through. Unlike the Hippogriff fight there, though, this guy actually gets a bunch of new attacks each time you fight him. Actually, I think you maybe only fight him 3 times. I don't know. We'll see. He's got a fair bit of health, too. These are maybe some of the trickier boss fights in the game. I know I had a lot of trouble with this guy my first time playing. Although I guess the trickiest bosses are the ones that demand heavy use of your flight ability. Yeah, this tornado right here is really hard to deal with. And I think part of the reason I'm kind of making this game look so easy is just because I know where pickups are. Like, a first-time player won't necessarily know where all the health upgrades are, and so they'll be coming into losses with a lot less health. Also, if it's not obvious, that tornadoes fly there, it pushes you backwards with it. Even if you're not inside it, it pushes you backwards. It creates a gust of wind, kind of like that one level in Celeste that we're on now, that pushes you in the direction of the tornado. And again, we're cutting it close there. We were 1 hit away from death. It's like the third we've done, where we've done that. Just can't cut it super close. And he drops another Crest. So, Crest of Air, this is a fun one. So we got the ability to fly now, which basically immediately obsoletes that tornado. And so, yeah, that's all of the stuff we can get, basically, or all the major items out of the first 4 levels. But now we got new levels. So yeah, basically, all of the 6 bosses from levels 2, 3, and 4 opens up levels 5 and 6 and actually closes Phalanx's castle, so we can no longer go back and get the bad ending anymore. Which is fine. We'll just be going for the next best ending now. I think it was this guy here who describes the crests to you, or the talismans, so we'll just go. So yeah, this talisman is the crown. It allows you to collect money more easily. Yeah, basically increase the rate of gold items dropping. 3, I think, is health. So this is basically the same thing, only increases the rate of, yeah, health drops, essentially. So now we have gargoyle also. And so this basically changes goals quite significantly for the air. So you've got no headbutt or dash or anything with the A button. Instead, and when you tap the A button in the air, that lets you ascend. So you actually can basically fly. Kind of weird. Like, basically you can hold the A button, and that's as far as it takes you. Or you can tap it a little bit, and you go up a little bit. You can't descend on your own, but you can do that just by canceling your flight like this. So it's a little bit clunky. You basically have full flight abilities now. You can go absolutely anywhere. Above water, at least. And you got this nice big blade attack, sort of gust of wind breath. That is actually pretty weak. Like, I don't even get damaged by that thing. So yeah, a lot of the time, the air gargoyle prefer getting around more so than actually fighting enemies. And actually, now that I think of it, there actually is a cup we can get over in the graveyard with this guy now, so we might as well go do that. Also, yeah, basically don't have to do these old levels anymore. We can fly our way through. Although a lot of the levels are actually set up where you can't really do this trivially. Try to do it in this level where they spawn ghosts on you, so it's like, ooh, the ghosts are after me, but I can just fly past them anyways. The later levels always have like a bunch of flying enemies up above to prevent you from doing this. Or actually nothing up here? I might have been wrong. In which case, whatever, this isn't a huge waste of time or anything. Yeah, apparently I'm full of shit. I think I got this confused level that has something way up high for you to grab, so okay, whatever. Got to show off the flight power in a bit more detail, at least. Actually, I don't even think the flight is good for anything like pickup in the first set of stages. So, yeah, we cleared up to 4, so number 5 is going to be the next one. Oh yeah, there's a really challenging boss coming up right here. Actually, I don't really want the skull. I want the talisman, or the skull talisman. Bleh. Try again. The crown talisman. Also, yeah, we got new versions, the sort of skull bird enemies now that have tons of health and are a huge pain in the ass to deal with. Though actually, those guys are weak against the air crest, now that I think. Yeah, one-shot them. So yeah, the air gargoyle is actually pretty good for getting through this area. Although breath actually does anything to these fishmen. Oh, look at me showing off how good I am at the flight ability, like I said I was the whole time. Okay, maybe we do want the skull, now that we're fucking everything up. Oh, there we go. See, look at that. I'm equipping the skull. They just make you randomly switch to Earth here to bust through that. Just didn't have it by now, which is actually impossible. You can actually take a little bit of a shortcut here if you want. Somewhere up above here, there's like a jackass drop through a hidden floor. Yeah, right here. That'll basically coming through above, which is basically just like a minor inconvenience at this point if you're coming in here with the air gargoyle, which you have to have in order to get to this stage, so it's a little troll move there on the game devs part. I don't remember if there's any pickups, like useful grades over here, so we're just gonna go through the level like normal. Yeah, like that one. We were gonna miss that if we just went through the hole, so it's not a shortcut you want to take anyways. Man, air gargoyle is kind of the shiznit. This breath attack is way better than I remembered it being. Although I think the reason I'm shit is, and see how this just like obsoletes all of your different, like, yeah, like special mobility breaths. Like you can get up through the. Oh yeah, that's the other thing, is you lose the ability to climb on walls now, if you use the air gargoyle, which is actually kind of bad sometimes. Get up here through like your claw ability and climb up the spikes there, or you could use your tornado breath. But there's no reason to do any of that anymore because you can just gargoyle. So it's like basically both of these just get obsoleted entirely right away. Yeah, this boss right here is can be kind of trolly. Kind of eat stuff along the way too. Nice bit of flavor there, I guess. Is like, ew, look at him devouring all these like skulls and bits of broken armor and stuff. But it's actually just kind of waste your time, really. Okay, so this guy's invincible until he opens his eye. When's he gonna open his eye? Him. He might never do it. It's entirely his up to the boss's discretion, up to RNG, whether you actually get to hit this gut. Those falling rocks are kind of bullshit. I can't dodge those on reaction. This guy is weak to earth, and he's weak enough that even your sort of weaker thing, air breath, is stronger than anything else you have. And I think your air breath just doesn't work on this guy entirely. Although, if you get unlucky, this guy can actually forward and corner you, in which case you actually do have to use your air breath or your air gargoyle to get over him. There's no other way to get up above him if he corners you. He might do in a moment here. Yeah. Yep, just like that. I don't think he turns around either, so we actually just have to wait for him to before we can start hitting him again, which is kind of annoying. So yeah, this can be like a super aggravating boss, just if he trolls you like this. Or what he can do sometimes, like we're getting lucky where he's throwing these dudes at us. What he can do is he can just sit in the corner there and just spam rock drops on you. And then you're just kind of fucked. Speaking of, we're fucked. This is just down to luck. I'm not going to be able to dodge that on reaction. Oh, we're so close. How you doing, the rocks? There we go. Again, like every single boss, we're coming down to like just the like last tiny sliver of health. Okay, this is the one crest that we don't actually get from, what's-his-face, Aram, or whatever his name is. And so yeah, the water level boss gives you the water, and actually do the water part of the water level if we want to. It's actually not a bad idea to just, like, replay that right away either. I'm gonna go to the ice way we've been doing it. We'll do like one branch of each level, then go back and do the other branch. Actually, you know what? We got some goodies back in town now that I think of. Now that I got some things we can do with this water crest. Or excuse me, tidal crest. So this guy basically has no special abilities on land. He's got weakened breath attack. Yeah, weakened breath, similar to the way that the ground gargoyle's breath is weakened in the air. This guy's breath is weakened on the land. But once you get him underwater, he becomes fucking deadly. If we can just get this guy to... Okay, so now that we're underwater, you can kind of swim basically like Mario. Just hit the B button, you kind of kick up a bit. You got like a big explosive water shot there that does like 4 times as much damage as the one you get on land. You can also hit the A button to just sort of swim forward. And you can also adjust while you're swimming forward like that, just kind of charging forward, doing your little dolphin. Press the jump button to kind of edge yourself up. Not a terribly useful ability, and it's so weird that like the swimming controls are so different from the aerial controls. Like they could have just done it where you swim the same way that you fly. Air gargoyle. Is there seriously nothing here? Okay, there's a bottle. We came all this way for a fucking bottle. Okay, so let's try out this mercury. Does this do? We escaped. Oh, hey, yeah, that just takes you back to the entrance of the level. That's actually super handy. Okay, so that wasn't too much of a detour. Also, area in, yeah, the dinosaur bone level here. Actually, there was a bunch of water stuff in the dinosaur bone level here, now that I think of it. Also, aerial gargoyle can snap the vine, which is not really that useful since they don't actually block off anything. Like, they don't block you off from getting anything. It's just kind of, I don't know, lets you move through a little bit more easily. Actually, I think there's underwater stuff in both of the branches through this level, so we'll kind of have to go through a couple times on this one. I'm getting, like, really hungry for some reason. So it looks like there's nothing down here. But there actually is something down here. All the way here. And then, yeah, through the gate there, too. I think it's another talisman behind the... Or maybe it's just fucking nothing. Okay, it's a health upgrade. Health upgrade is what we get out of that. Okay, and then that puts us down here, too. I think this is just the door that we came out of. Yeah. So yeah, basically just a couple health upgrades. Nothing super exciting that we, yeah, get with the Tide Gargoyle. Also, we don't need the Skull Talisman anymore. Oh, hey, look at that. Crown Talisman. Yeah, the slowdown in this game sometimes, though. Oh, wow, look at that. Look at that! Okay, I think the Crown Talisman actually just, like, converts all of your pop drops to coins, which is pretty sweet. Okay, so yeah, I think that's pretty much all the goodies that we get, from our new forms there. And then actually the towers, I think we've completely cleared out. No reason at all to revisit those. Also, there's little secrets hidden throughout the map, too. This is one of the lower levels of the skull-breaking minigame that I said there's no reason to do, so we won't do them. I'm actually lost now. Okay, here's the Ice Palace. This music I really like. In fact, I think I added this one to my playlist of great video game music on YouTube. Oh, I think this might be the last of the flasks. Yep, so we're missing... So what, we're missing pretty much all of the talismans. We're missing 3 crests, it looks like. Or no, 2 crests. Although if you look at the Demon's Crest over on the right there, there's 3 slots for it. Or you know what, that's complete the firepower up there. So yeah, we're missing 1 breath, which will complete our fire crest, and then 2 of these guys down here. I don't think it's actually possible to get all the crests in a standard playthrough. Could be. Oh, also I've got to decide if I want to do the optional super boss. I guess I'll let chat decide if they want to see that much more of this game at the end of it all. This bit right here on the music. So like bleak and like moody. Just like the Gothic feel I get. It just the music in this game suits the game really well, I think. I've really come around to it. It's not typically something I'll listen to like in my spare time or anything, but I can style and like this kind of world that it's set in really, really well. So this is we saw kind of the entrance to the Ice Palace up there. Yeah, and you can see how they just litters the sky from just kind of cheesing every single level using the air gargoyle. It's weird how you like have to completely change your thumb position when you're using this guy too. And another, or you know what? I think it's in this skull pile. Yep. Okay, and that's our last spell thing. Haven't even used the other one yet. What does this thing do? Oh, cool. Oh, it's like a time stop thing. That's pretty neat. I don't know what I'm doing here. Okay, and so it's not a barrier, it's just a time stop, and then the circling thing lets you know how much time you have left. That's pretty neat. I'm actually gonna get killed by this next boss if I don't go back and farm some health. So, yeah, we're gonna equip the skull and do that right away here. Just gonna lose some more health, actually, is what we're gonna do. Or, okay, you know what? I don't think that the skull and crown talismans actually affect enemy drops at all. I think it's entirely, just changes the pots. Yeah, like change pots to like 100% health with the skull, or like 100% gold coins with the other one. This boss right here is a fucker. I still hate this guy. I don't think this is a good boss at all. Mobile, agile, you can't really, like, reasonably... But you can kind of cheese him, though. Though you have to be patient. Yeah. I've never found, like, a really good, foolproof way to, beat this. You know what, there was probably like a power-up in one of the mounds of skulls in the graveyard that I missed that last time through when I read oil. It's not like a huge lead up to this to retry this boss or anything, though. In fact, we're pretty much there already. There's like kind of a trick to cheesing this boss, only as the timing is super specific. Yeah, just like this. And then sometimes he does that, so you kind of get fucked. But yeah, you can kind of like chain stun him a little bit. Okay. Fuck! And yeah, he just like runs after you like super fast. Faster than like sticks on you. This is, yeah, terrible, terrible boss fight in my opinion. Could potentially like game ruining. Like a lot of people I've seen, or not a lot of people, but at least a couple like streamers and Let's Players I've seen just like basically quit the game or resolve to like use cheat through that fight, and I don't even blame them. It's just a terribly designed boss fight in my opinion. But we're gonna see if we can do it legit, just, I don't know, for hardcore gamer points, I don't know. Because this was such an impressive, what, died on the first real boss? And then he does that. You think you got away from him, and then he does that. If you, like, spam him when he's invincible, he'll just, like, jump at you and stay invincible. It's kind of bullshit. Yep, and you think you can get him up there, but then he does that. It works. We could maybe make something out of this. Never mind. Sometimes he does that. That's a new one. I don't think I've seen him just make like a random leap while he's running before. So the other way to like kind of... And yeah, to be clear, this is like probably the hardest boss, or it's not the hardest boss in the game. The final boss, and especially like the optional super boss at the end of everything, are actually the final boss I think is actually extremely well designed and fair. Like your skills at the game and like managing like his different attacks and your flight abilities and your wall. It's a great test of skill, I think, the final boss in this game. But this shit right here is just like, can you figure out how to get around this thing's bullshit AI? There's kind of a trick you can do. Now we're just stuck here. Yep. Okay, yeah, you can, like, right after he comes out of his invincibility. Yeah, just like this. Yeah, this is the best. Except sometimes you go a bit early, so it's not even like a sure win or anything, because the timing is super specific. It's probably actually... Let's not do this guy then. Let's try the sulfur. So yeah, the way, I don't know why I decided to challenge. I usually do this fight is just come back and do it like at the very end once I've gotten all of the upgrades and everything. So yeah, we'll just go and do the other path for this level instead. But yeah, kind of a blemish on a really solid and kind of skill-based game, really. Takes a bit of effort to master this one. Hell, I haven't mastered it, not even close, as we'll probably see. Like, I was talking about how, like, the final boss is, like, a supreme test of your Demon's Crest skills, and to that, just how just to what extent I've mastered this game. Is this like a hidden passage or something? Yeah, you can see how, like, your other breath attacks would be useful for getting on with the spikes. I could use the tornadoes to make platforms. Nope, you can just air gargoyle your way up pretty much everything from here on out. I forget which door I want here. Or that's not right. This thing right here. Yeah. I'm just gonna save you guys the aggravation. There is nothing... So this is like a headbutt type thing. You can headbutt these blocks and get stuff out of them. And I guess probably if I equip the crown, yeah, we'll get money. So if you're being like a thorough, like, you know, 100% type of person, you're gonna break all of these blocks to see if there's anything, like any pickups or any upgrades hidden behind them. I'm just gonna save you guys the trouble. No upgrades behind any of these headbutt blocks here. They are just like for decoration or for money. But yeah, I tested that to be sure. First time through the game, I yeah, headbutted every single one of those things looking for upgrades, and there are none to be found. I've actually got so much money right now, like more than I'll ever need, probably. Ah! Thought I could pick that up without... Yep, just like that. And again, when I was just talking about how all the shop upgrades or all the shop items are useless. Okay, and yeah, now we get to fight, what was this, Flyer, again. Very weak to air, if I remember correctly, so this should actually be a lot shorter than the first time we fought him. Well, weirdly, the actual, like, flight ability of the... Oh yeah, we got the slippery floor now, too, so that's another thing to contend with. Well, actually, maybe this won't go so smoothly after all, because... The tricky thing about Air Gargoyle is you only get one shot on screen at a given time. Although when you get them in situations like this, where you can rapid fire them from up close, it can be handy. Yeah, that was much, much faster and easier, though, than the first time we fought that guy. Equally laggy, though. I guess that nice little action pose when he's crashing to the ground there. Oh, hey, we actually have to kick it back to the fire now. Haven't done that in a while. Yeah, I gotta say, the crest switching is actually a little bit cumbersome in this game at times. Design thing than anything. Like, too many levels require you to change crests, like, very rapidly. Where I think it would have been better to sort of design around the limitation of, like, having to go into the menu all the time to change your crests. I think it would be a air dragon area, and this will be or air gargoyle area. This will be a fire gargoyle area. And just, like, set it up so you're not having to constantly dip into the menu all the time to swap out your upgrades. There's one around here somewhere, but I forget exactly where. I think this might just be the regular path through the level. Oh, nope, okay, so we got the armor talisman there. The armor talisman gives you armor. Yeah. It effectively doubles your health, so it's actually, like... so yeah, we'll basically want to be using that until we get a better one. And there are better ones, or I guess it depends on your play style. Basically, it's between armor and Fang for best talisman in the game, because the Fang is a version of the armor. Instead of doubling your health, it doubles your damage. Generally, I prefer doubling damage in these types of games, just because it makes for shorter boss fights. If you look at like a boss fight in a video game as sort of like a trade-off, where it's like you're trying to deal damage faster than you're taking damage. So if you're looking at the ratio of damage dealt to damage taken, both of those power-ups do the same thing. You gotta hit the boss at a certain amount of times for each amount of damage that you take. And so either doubling your attack or doubling your health doesn't change that ratio. It just makes the fight go twice as long, or rather it does change the ratio, but they both change the ratio in your favor in the same way. This is like a stupidly in-depth discussion of like the logistics of doubling health versus doubling damage. But basically it makes for like an equally difficult fight. It's just doubling your health makes for a longer fight. And speaking of longer fights, like this is, yeah, one of the longer boss fights in the game. I think he might be weak to something. Maybe we'll try. Okay, he's not. Yeah, Tornado does nothing, which is pretty much what it does against most of the enemies in this game. I know that Claw actually has like kind of a different damage type than your other fire breaths, so maybe this guy takes a bit more. But yeah, he's got most of the same attacks that we've seen already, but he'll have a different one that we'll see in a minute here. Basically, once his health gets down to a certain amount, once he gets to like half health or something, yeah, he starts doing that. So basically, each time you fight this guy, he gets a new attack. When he gets... This one's, yeah, actually a lot less threatening than the Tornado. Although when he combines the Tornado with this thing, it gets kind of aggravating. If anything, he's just making it easier to hit him by spamming this. I don't even know if I'm, like, accidentally manipulating... Okay, when this happens, it's a pain in the ass. I don't think this guy is vulnerable to Air Gargoyle, either. We'll give it a shot. Oh, hey, he actually is. Okay, so that's handy. Go. Okay, so this is like kind of the final crest of the game, if I remember correctly. And yeah, he's gone for good. He's like sealed his power within the crest, and now we're the ultimate demon. Crest of Time. So I think the idea here is that so yeah, the legendary gargoyle. And it actually does other things too, if I remember correctly. But yeah, I think the basic idea here is that you've sort of unlocked Formant abilities now and brought him back to his sort of legendary past glory, back when he was ruler of the demon realm, before the beginning of the game. Oh yeah, you remember when this guy's like talking shit about Firebrand? So we go in legendary form. So yeah, pretty fearsome. And he's basically the same as your regular gargoyle form, except he's got like this cool, like, blue energy breath that does tons of damage. And he's got his regular headbutt. That's basically it. Obsoletes your regular fire breath here. Yeah, there's basically pretty much no reason to use that ever anymore. There's actually, yeah, so there's another slot for a crest even better than that you're not going to get on a standard playthrough. Yeah, that's the ultimate crest that we'll probably end up having to show off once we clear the game. Let's actually buy some shit. Are you talking about my webcam or the game audio? I'll check the webcam audio right. Like is delayed behind my vocal audio, then that means that this is not sounding right. Yep, that is sound. Yeah, that's not the sound of my voice. I don't know why it keeps on doing this. There's got to be some. Oh fuck. Okay, so we're gonna have to then, or just go offline, online. So yeah, back in a second.